says on your program, challenge. You have challenged me. This has been, before I get to what I want to say, this has been one of the most amazing ceremonies that I have experienced in all of the years that I worked with the Bible translators. I continue to work with Bible translators as I teach in some of the courses. This was simply amazing and moving and from the heart. And I thank you all for every word that was said here. I thank your teachers for working, as I know they do, so hard in order to help to bring you to the realization that text is in context and that translation, as Murray said, is not taking pictures from one cell phone to another. And having said that, I'm going to talk to you about death. It says challenge. Not really death, but mortality. Difference. As you know, the Torah is divided into sections, which we read every week in the synagogue. I'm not going to talk about the section we are approaching. That's the section called Balak. We all remember who Balak was in the Torah. And I don't want to talk about an ass. So I'm going to talk about what came before Balak. And we are in the 19th and 20th chapters of the book of Bamidbar. And here we have a couple of interesting stories. The first is all about Para Aduma, this red heifer, which we don't always recognize. Can't find a red heifer. But it seems in the desert they had a red heifer. Desert was a place of miracles. As this little nation came out of slavery from Egypt. They had silver and they had gold and they had red heifers. And so here you have a red heifer who God commands to burn, completely burn, ashes, the skin, the bones, everything turned into ash. And why? To purify. And the person, the Kohen, who burnt the red heifer, becomes tameh, becomes impure, even though he is handling the ash of something that is made to purify. And the person who delivers the ashes to various people and cleans out the mizbeach, even if he was pure to begin with, he becomes tameh. He becomes impure. This is one of the most paradoxical things that we have in the Bible. Is this easy to translate? Maybe in words. And as I normally say when I teach, because I teach about Chagim, I'm not going to teach theology. Today, we're going to talk a little bit theology. We have to. By the way, your recital, where is he? Your recital of Tehillim was just amazing. Thank you. So here we have this paradoxical story. And then we come to another story. And that is the story of the loss of a leader. And we have at the beginning of chapter 20 the death of whom? Miriam. She dies in the desert and is mourned. But it's a little statement. Vatamot sham. She dies there. And then right after that, Bnei Yisrael again comes to Moshe and says, we have no water. So here we have the Para Aduma that deals with purity and impurity. And then we have death. But the death of whom? The death of a leader, the death of one of three people who worked so hard in order to bring the Bnei Yisrael out of Egypt with her two brothers. Impurity and death. Finality. And then the people, in Yiddish we say kvetch. They complain. No water. And what does God say? Take your staff and gather everybody and take them to the rock. And you and Aaron together, not Moshe, not just Moshe, but you and Aaron together, talk to the rock. V'dibartem. Both of you, talk to the rock, I'll give water. And what does Moshe do? Goes out to the rock, and before he does what he does, he says, hey guys, you're crixes, always complaining. Do you think I can get water out of this rock? Oh boy. He's mad. He's upset. There's anger here. Did we ever see Moshe angry? We don't see Moshe angry. We see Moshe as listening to God, maybe sometimes debating with him. That's okay. But to be angry, we didn't even really see him angry when he threw the tablets down. He was upset. But anger, the first time we really see anger in Moshe. And he hits the rock. Water comes out. And then what happens? What does God then say to Moshe? Lo ha'emantem bi. You didn't really believe in me. I told you to speak to the rock. You went and hit the rock. And so, punishment. What's the punishment? You're not going to get into the land of Israel. Finality. Does Moshe come before God and say, whoa, wait a minute, I mean, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Does he beg for forgiveness? Not a word. Not a word out of Aaron either. Nothing. Complete acceptance. Complete acceptance. So now I want to try to bring this all together. Moshe knows he's not God. Aaron knows he's not God. Miriam knew she was not God. And so there is a finality to them, at least in terms of the body. But now think in terms of what they left behind. Miriam, with all of the organization that she did in the Torah, tells us how she organized the women and they sang. This was a beautiful soul. Not just a leader that says, okay, we need to move forward now, but the soul of this woman comes through in the Torah, leading women, leading everybody in song. Aharon, the line of priesthood, continues today. And so today we have Kohanim and we have Leviim and then we have everybody else. Now whether or not it's real and any one Kohen can really trace his ancestry back to Aaron, I don't know. I don't know. But the point is, within tradition, it's there. Aaron has given us kihuna. God gave it to him. He has passed it on. And then we have Moshe. And the Rambam says, Lo kam b'Yisrael navi od keMoshe. There is no other prophet that can compare to Moshe. He has left us with what? He has left us with all of his teaching. He has left us with a line of laws, of instruction, of Torah. Yes, he is mortal. Yes, Aaron is mortal. Yes, Miriam is mortal. Yes, all of us in this room are mortal. We will die. Because that is the nature of man. When God breathed soul into man, Began Eden, he wasn't just creating this thing out of dust. He was creating something that will last as long as mankind lasts. And you, all of you, will now, as Murray said so beautifully, as Rose said, you will all go and continue to make mistakes. Why? We're human. But you now have been given a whole series of tools that will help you make fewer mistakes. And not only you, but you will be passing this on to the people who read your texts, to the people you teach, how to translate. Just as Moshe gave us instruction le'olam va'ed, forever, just as Aaron has given us a priesthood le'olam va'ed, forever, and just as Miriam has given us a soul le'olam va'ed, forever. Mortal we are. Immortal we also are, as we pass on what we have learned. I almost don't know how to end this, because I can't see the future of mankind le'olam va'ed. None of us can. We are not there. That is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not our job. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu has blessed this family. Your family that we saw. Kadosh Baruch Hu has blessed this family. And the blessing that the Kadosh Baruch Hu has given is your future. And the future that will come after you as you continue on this path to more translation, more accurate translation, le'olam va'ed, forever. Amen.
Amen.